So the first video on this pedal was all about the 2x2 mode. This video is going to be dedicated entirely to 6x6 mode. Stay put, you don't want to miss this. That's right, if you are a looping fanatic and maybe you by chance just finished watching the video that I made recently on the 2x2 mode video of this very same pedal that happens to be the Aeros Loop Studio from my friends at Singular Sound, this video, of course, is going to be dedicated entirely to the 6x6 mode. 6x6 mode, of course, is dedicated to a little bit more complex looping style. And, of course, unlike 2x2 mode, which is a mode dedicated a little bit more towards simpler looping needs, maybe laying down some song ideas, getting down some ideas for a chorus and, for a verse and a chorus or something like that. 6x6 mode is intended for that plus a whole lot more. And it's probably, if you are a musician who is into live looping, use a looper on stage to build your loops and create your performances, 6x6 mode is probably the mode for you. Without further ado, let's take a deep dive and take a quick look at this thing, and then let's see it in action. Okay, so I already went through most of this stuff in the video that I did for the 2x2 mode. Okay, so if you happen to be watching this video before you've seen the 2x2 mode video, I will post a link to the video on the 2x2 mode for this pedal up in the card right about here. So you can go check that out when you have a moment. That said, just so that I'm not repeating myself too much, I am going to blaze through most of this real quick, and we're just going to jump right to 6x6 mode. So here we are going to go into songs. That's the one I'm looking for. That is the 6x6 mode demo song I've been working on. So, and you will notice quite it looks actually really, really similar to 2x2 mode. The difference being over here you have, The difference being over here you have 6 tracks or 6 song parts to work with as opposed to just 2 of them. And of course each of these song parts you can do overdubs and all that kind of stuff with. So when you get started, it is going to look something like that. Of course, you don't see anything recording because I don't have anything plugged into it, and I'm not playing anything into it at the moment. However, from there, then you can go back to play, and then of course you can overdub from there. You can then, should you be ready to record the next part over it, then you just hit the next track button, and that will automatically start recording on the very next measure down on the next track below. And of course, so now what you can do with 6x6 mode, as opposed to a simple verse and a chorus, now you can do an intro, you can do a verse, you can do a bridge, you can do a pre-chorus, you can do a chorus, and you can do an outro, all in the same mode. And you can jump back and forth between in any order of any of those parts as you're recording, and create more overdubs or erase or mute some parts out for a time being if you need to. It's very, very well thought out, and you're not tap dancing between 8 different switches trying to figure out which one you need to go to next and making mistakes and having to erase and re-record and re-overdub and all that kind of stuff. So this, as I mentioned, is very intuitive, very well laid out, and makes a complicated looping process very, very simple. So, without further ado, let's see this thing in action. So as I mentioned in the video for the 2x2 mode, these demos I'm tackling a little bit differently than I normally do. You know, one straight continuous camera angle solely on the device itself, because I wanted to be able for you to see, you know, see what my feet were doing the whole time while I was playing. So. And hopefully, you know, hopefully that helped to answer some questions about how this thing works and how intuitive this is. Speaking of how intuitive this is, I have gone on and on over a couple of videos about just how intuitive this device is. One thing I have not mentioned yet is, you know, I don't normally like this kind of stuff. Okay, you know, things with, you know, menus and touch screens and all these switches and inputs and outputs on it. You know, I've had real bad luck with that kind of stuff over the years. You know, I just for the most part, I just don't wrap my brain around it very well. This has been the only exception. You know, I can't tell you how many times somebody has come to me and said, hey, dude, you know, I know you don't like this kind of thing, but you got to give it a shot. Trust me, it's really, really intuitive. You're really going to like it once you learn how to use it. And then I sit down with it and, you know, and I see some things that are cool about it, but it still end up still just not for me. This is about the only exception I can think of that, you know, to that rule that I have ever encountered. I expected to, you know, once again get frustrated with it and, you know, decide that it's just not my thing. And, you know, all of a sudden after, you know, spending maybe 10-15 minutes with it, you know, I started to get the hang of it. And once I started to get the hang of it, then, you know, the ideas and stuff started flowing. This is a fantastic songwriting tool. So please leave me your comments down below. Links to all of the gear used in this video, including that of the Aeros Loop Studio, will be down in the description. Also, please don't forget to do the like, share, subscribe thing. And last but not least, adios, see you later, bye. We'll see you in the next video, everybody.